So you go into the military, kind of lead us up to, military and then up to the point of getting into real estate. Cause I know you have a couple different things that you've, went into and, different careers and things like that. Kind of lead us up to the moment of getting your license.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So jack of all trades, master of none. So I joined the military. I became a combat medic. I never originally wanted to be a medic. That was not my cup of tea. I had never dealt with medicine before in my life, or human bodies for that matter, like having to deal with another person and their life. That was not my original plan. I signed up originally to be what I'm sure the name has changed now, but it used to be called a psychological warfare specialist. That was what I originally went for. I scored super high on my ASVAB. I could pick any job I wanted. I was going to, I could get a security clearance, all that good stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take this like cool sounding job and do that. That did not work out. That training was a year out from when I signed up. And I was like, no, like I need another job. So a very gracious older gentleman at MEPS is what it's called, where you do your entrance processing, was like, all right, well, we'll give you another job, but you can only pick from this list. And medic was on the list. And this was 2007, getting into that surge in Afghanistan. And so medics were extremely needed. And I said, you know what, I'll do it. I'm going to go work in a hospital. I'm going to be super cool, get my little scrubs and walk around and, just help people like get from point A to point B and just be, a hospital person. So I get to medic training, which has a very high attrition rate. I didn't realize that, I did basic. Basic I felt was difficult just because I had gotten so used to being on my own as a quote young man and not being told what to do. So being told what to do every second of your life is a wild swing from rural America. So that was new for me. But passed basic, got into AIT is what it's called. Went to medic school. Medic school was eye-opening. I had never seen blood before. So like I'd never had to do anything hospital-wise.
Right.
Like personally, never seen blood before. I passed out. First time I saw them drawing blood from somebody, hit the deck, just done. I'm out. I almost got kicked out of the Army because of it. Thankfully, they were like, hey, we need medics, so you're going to have to learn to live with it. So went through medic training. That was 4 months long. And then I had some other like specialty schools that I went to and stuff, got to my unit. I was stationed in upstate New York. Funny story, side story. I'm from Florida. No. Well, so I'm passed and everything, got it. That was my first duty station, but I got sent home after AIT for hometown recruiting, it's called. So I spent 2 weeks in Florida, just basically BSing with friends. And, I got a plane ticket. They buy you your plane tickets to fly to upstate New York. In my head, I had only ever been to New York City when I was young. Yeah. And so I think of New York as New York City. And so I didn't realize that there's a ton of New York that is nothing but cow farms and rural life, just like what I'm used to. So I kid you not, we flew up to Albany. So that's where my big plane, like the commercial plane, flew me to Albany. And I hopped on this like Cessna that was going to fly me to base in Watertown, New York.
Yeah.
So I hop on this Cessna and I'm flying over, and we're pretty high, I feel like, for a Cessna. And I don't know why, but everything on the ground looked like sand. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of sand. Ooh, I didn't mean curse, but there's a lot of sand in New York. I'm like, why is there so much sand? And I'll never forget, we had these headphones on and a little mic. And the woman up the front right of me said, oh, honey, that's not sand, that's snow. Mind you, I'm in a like tank top, shorts, and flip-flops because I had just got off a flight from Florida.
Yeah.
So mortified. I've never been in snow except when I was a very tiny kid and didn't remember it. So
up there, it's a different. My dad lives in Chameau.
Yes.
So I've been to Watertown. I think just a handful of times because obviously that's the closest. City, right? For Wisconsin stores, but yeah, that's a different type of snow up there. They should have like eased you into that. Like,
oh no, there was no easing. It was just
no snow to like 2 feet in 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like going from Florida to like Siberia in flip flops and shorts. So it was definitely a shock. Getting off they land that little plane on the tarmac. There's no like ramp. Like this is just some like little, I'm surprised the plane made it, right? Like it's just a little plane. I got off in flip-flops. I'd never walked on ice or snow or anything. And for whatever reason, it was very icy right at the entrance, like trying to get from the plane to this one X-ray, one metal detector type airport with a single TSA officer. So trying to get to there, I kept slipping and falling. I had a duffel bag. I ended up sitting on my duffel bag and scooting myself to the door because I had busted my tail like 5 or 6 times. People were cracking up, laughing at me. And I was embarrassed. But at the same time, like, I'm going to make it. Like, like I just got a basic, I'm, young, I'm fit. And, I could run 12 miles, holding my breath. So I'm going to make it across. I don't care what these people think.
Yeah.
So that was my culture shock. So got in the military, had a great time. I loved being in the military. Loved the guys I was with. So I started out obviously as a medic. Ended up getting to a point of being a senior medic. I was in charge for a little bit. It was a big group of medics basically. Deployed to Afghanistan. That's a whole other story. But deployed to Afghanistan. Did my time there. Got back. I was married, then got divorced while I was in Afghanistan. The typical soldier gets taken for a ride story, and then got out. When I got out of the military, that's when like life hits you. The military is very shielded, very guarded. You've got a place to live. They give you a paycheck the 1st and the 15th of every month. You will never want for anything because there's a place to eat, a place to shower, a place to get clothes. So when I got out, I was like, holy Moses, like real life hit me hard. So I bounced around at first. When I first got out, I had some money saved up. So I took this, like, I call it the national tour. I went to like Wisconsin. I went to every state that I possibly could get to, either at the time in a little tiny BMW I bought, or then a motorcycle that I decided was going to be way cooler and very Top Gun-ish to ride a motorcycle everywhere, except when it rains. That's horrible. It was the only vehicle I had. So no helmet, by the way. So it's like just sunglasses, raindrops hitting you in the forehead at like 90 miles an hour.
In the pavement.
Oh, man. So I did that and decided, hey, like I did some weird jobs. I worked for an architect for a little bit, doing blueprinting. I've worked for cable companies. I've worked for all kinds of stuff, just doing odd jobs. Decided I'm going to go back to school. I wanted to go to nursing schools. I was a medic.
Yeah.
I figured out that I had GI Bill, which I did not know about when I got out. I don't care. They kept it a secret for the longest time, it felt like, for me. So got out, went back to school. And during like my prereqs for nursing school, I found paralegal classes. And I'm like, oh, being a lawyer would be fun. I love arguing with people. This would be great. Like, let's do this. So I went and took all these paralegal classes and got a little associate's degree or certificate or whatever they call it, to be a paralegal. Then decided, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go back into doing nursing. So went back to nursing school, did that. That was so much fun. And during that process, I got a job at the VA. And so they had this program. It's called the ICT, the Intermediate Care Technician Program. And it was a pilot program. They had allocated millions of dollars. When they spend all this money, they allocate millions of dollars to do these pilot programs. And so there were, at the time, I think 20 of us across the nation who got hired in this program. And basically it was like, hey, welcome back to the government, buddy. We're going to let you be a medic again. We're going to let you do all this wild surgical stuff and all this crazy amounts of stuff that we let you do in the military that probably you could not get away with in civilian life. We're going to let you do it again here at the VA. So here's your badge. Here's your scrubs. Here's a stethoscope. Welcome back. So I did that. I ended up creating a PA program, a partnership program with Yale, which was that is a whole nother bucket. Bureaucratic creation of programs with private institutions or public institutions is a whole nother ballgame. Did that, started working towards my PA. And it was nice because I did it while I was at work. All my studying and stuff is all at work. Seeing patients, all my didactic, all my clinicals at work. So I did that for some time, and then ended up I've worked in the ER or acute care for my entire career. So that's what I continued doing. working emergency medicine. And then, yeah, we bring that all the way to the pandemic. I decided, not anymore. I'm burned out. I'm on divorce number 2. Like, can't do it. Like, I got small kids now. I just can't work, overnight and then, so many hours later go work the day shift.
Yeah.
So I decided I got to do something else, At the time, like I said, I was getting a divorce. I'm paying lawyers' fees. I'm paying tons of money out every month. I'm like, I need to take a side job. I thought I was going to go back to school, like get a doctorate, and I'm going to make it in life and do something crazy. I didn't have any GI Bill left, according to the VA. So I needed some way to pay for all these classes, and took a job back with the cable company that I originally started with. So I was moonlighting with them like a couple days a week, and when I had time, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up finding out about real estate and EXP all at one time, was because my mentors, who I now have an office with, their internet went out, and so I had to go out there to fix their internet, and that's how I found this. So
it's crazy. It's crazy how life works like that sometimes.